Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. Our rocket is now ready to launch. Since it's gotten to 100%, I cut off the belts to the rocket control units and the rocket fuel so that they stop producing. The low density structures I left there since we need those for science. So let's go ahead and launch the rocket and get some achievements. To get one of the achievements, I'm going to load in a fish. All right, let's go. All right, so that's how you get the so long and thanks for all the fish achievement. And then we also got smoke me a kipper. It took us almost 20 hours, so that's why I didn't get there is no spoon or no time for chit chat. I'll have to do another playthrough to get those. But yeah, we got a rocket launched, and now the silo is going to reload itself and get prepared to launch again. I'll go ahead and use up the rest of whatever's on the belt here. And that'll get us, yeah, a little over 2%. But I'm not planning to launch more rockets right now. Okay, now the other thing is that with these modules loaded in here, you'll notice that the rocket silo is currently consuming 16.7 megawatts. Well, maybe it's not. I think that's only when it's working. And 8.3 kilowatts when it's not working. Let's take a look here. Okay. Yeah, I guess as long as we're not making rocket parts, it's only 8.3 kilowatts. I was going to cut the power to it, but I suppose we can leave it there. Okay. Also, as you can see, I'm paving the base with stone, or at least the top half of it. I didn't do the bottom half yet, but I just went over it with a ghost image of stone, and I'm letting the bots do the rest. It'll take them a while to get done. And then also down here, I removed the inserters to put bots into the robot network because I think I have enough for the starter base. I have over 2,000 construction bots in the network and almost 600 logistics bots, and I think that's more than enough for, you know, for what we've had to do up until now. So let's take a look and see what research we want to do next. Space science I'll probably save until the very end. Atomic bomb could be interesting, although I don't have any uranium. Yeah, so to be honest, I think... Oh, and now we can do research queue, which gets unlocked. So I think what I'd like to do now is we'll do robot speed, and then we'll do mining productivity, and then we'll do logistics slots, we'll do trash slots, and then let's do some of the nuclear stuff. I think we're going to need reactors at some point. Research speed I don't need. And then I guess we can do inserter capacity. Does that sound good? All right, let's go. All right, so if you haven't seen the queue work before, it's quite nice. You can put up to 6 in the queue plus what you're currently researching, and as soon as this one finishes, it'll start on the next one. So that way you don't have to revisit the research screen every single time you complete research, which is very convenient. Let's take a look at our achievements and see what we've gotten. So we've earned 16 of the 38 achievements so far, which is not bad. We'll be able to get Tech Maniac fairly soon. that actually doesn't show any progress. That's when we get all the research done. And you don't need infinite research. You just have to get all the regular research done. Construct more machines using bots than manually. Okay, we're getting close. Have a train plan a path, 1,000 tiles. Okay, we're getting close there. Getting killed by a locomotive. That'll be, that's something that I'll probably get without really trying very hard. Surviving a hit we can do later once I have more energy shields. All right. Iron Throne 3. Produce more than a gigajoule per hour using solar. I'm not sure if we'll do that one. And minions. Okay, and then these are the ones that we can't get. Right, because these I've already done solar, I've done laser, I've done logistics. Our rocket launch took too long. We can't do lazy bastard because we weren't trying to. And we didn't build a locomotive within the first 90 minutes. So we won't be able to get any of those, but we should be able to get all the rest of the achievements that are available. And I think I'll make that my goal for the series, is to get as many of those achievements as possible. I think the one that might give us the most difficulty is going to be, what is it, Mass Production 3? Okay, we got Mass Production 1. Yeah, Mass Production 3, we have to make 20 million circuits. That's a lot of circuits, as I'm sure you know. Okay, so at this point, wow, we're getting some massive attacks over here. But once again, our defenses are just great. And this is pretty easy to put together. I'm surprised by how effective it is. But the flame turrets are a real game changer. We're learning that on the multiplayer server that I have for my patrons. We're doing Death World Marathon, which is rather challenging. But what we're finding is that, I mean, honestly, we had to have somebody pretty much full-time just running around repairing turrets for a while. And what we found is that as soon as we got flame turrets involved, the game just became much, much easier. So if you're playing Death World or you're having problems with biters, if you haven't yet gotten yourself flame turrets, I highly recommend it. They're very effective. Okay, so taking a look at power. It's nighttime now, so it's going to be hard to see how we're doing in comparison to our power capacity. Our accumulator charge is dropping, but I wouldn't say it's at an alarming rate. All the same, we do have time and materials, so let's start adding some more solar. And I don't need to build anything else out this way. So I'm going to start putting the solar here. And I'll just build a full row. Except for right there, I can't see what the heck I'm doing. I think that's right. Oh, I know what I can do. We'll put one there, and then I can line it up on that side. Great. And then the other thing I can do is remove this RoboPort. And replace it with a radar. Okay, I don't have any radar. There. And that way that'll give me some more vision over here where I'm currently lacking. Okay, looking good. All right, so now we need to start planning for the rest of the playthrough. So the goal that I had for this series was to do at least 1,000 science packs per minute. So that's what I'm going to shoot for at the beginning. And then once we've achieved that, we can kind of evaluate where things stand, evaluate the interest in continuing with the series, and we can start to scale it up beyond that level if everybody's interested to see that happen. But I'll wait until later to make that decision because, you know, by then there might be some cool mods out that I want to start using or something like that. So, and I think 1,000 a minute, I think is challenging, but not overwhelming. It's something we should be able to finish in less than 100 episodes, I would think. All right, so let's take a look at our map. We've got plenty of resources. We've got resource patches everywhere. So one of the first things that we'll have to do is building up the trains into a real train network. All right, so let's talk about that for a few minutes. And I'm just going to come out here so we can kind of sketch things out in sort of a schematic fashion and decide what we're going to be doing. So in previous series, I've done grids with the trains where essentially, it's kind of like a city block sort of idea, but I'd have lots of rail like this, in a grid pattern. Each junction was a 4-way junction, and then in the middle of each of these, I would build some production unit, doing smelting or making circuits or whatever. And that worked pretty good. One thing I liked about it is I didn't get too many traffic problems because with the grid you have so many different paths that the trains could take that if a certain segment was getting congested, the train could just go around and find some other way there. And it's very easy to expand. So that type of layout has a lot of advantages. So we could do that. But since I've already done it recently, I would say that it's not an idea that, excites me a lot. The other idea that I've been entertaining was to make what I'll call a decoupled layout. So let's say, for example, we've got mining over here. And then let's say over here I've got some smelting, right? So what I would do in that case is I would just have a discrete rail line from mining to smelting. Okay, and if there's another mine here and there, then I would have those go to the same place, all on their own lines. And these could be two-headed trains, so they would go in, do the mining, and then go back on the same set of rail. And I would probably make these like two-way. So it would be a pair of rails going in each direction, but the stations themselves I would have with two-headed trains, so they would just go in on a single track. And the reason I would do that is because then when the plates come out, I would have the plates go out on a separate set of track, right? And then let's say we need circuits over here, so we'd have some rail where iron plates would go out to circuits. We would have another rail where, maybe we've got copper smelting down here, and they would both go to the circuits area. and then there would be a different rail line that took the circuits to wherever it needed to go. Okay, so this, I think, this would be interesting because I've never done something like that before. Before I did the grid, what I had done previously was to build like a highway with, 2 or 4 lanes, and then I would have these, the production units coming off of both sides. Essentially, it was set up the same way that I make my bus in the starting base. So all the trains would have to go down this central spine, or whatever you want to call it. But I would always end up with pretty bad traffic problems by the time I got to the end. So that's why I tried the grid last time. The grid worked well. With this, traffic would not be an issue either, because most of the trains are going to have, a dedicated rail line. Or, they might be, like, for example, maybe this mine can handle 2 or 3 trains. Okay, so then I'll just have 2 or 3 trains on this line, and that's it. And this would also give us lots of freedom with the layout, so we could work around these large bodies of water. It wouldn't necessarily have to be in a grid shape. And I think it could lead to some interesting layouts. So this is what I want to try on this playthrough, if there are no significant objections. All right, so I'm gonna leave that there. In case I want to refer to it later and see how insane I am. Okay, so then before we get started, when we build this up, we'll have to build it up essentially the same way that we built up the starter base, which is to start with some mining, get some copper and iron going, and gradually build our way up. I guess one of the problems with that approach, unfortunately, is that it gets to a point like, after 40 or 50 episodes, it gets to a point where it feels like the progress is very slow, because until you're making all 6 science packs, you're not really going to be able to do anything with the stuff that you're building, because where the base really starts working is when you have all the 6 science packs and you start cranking away at infinite mining productivity, right? And actually you'll need 2, 4, you'll need 6. You don't need military science for that. So for me, that's when it starts to get interesting, and you start fine-tuning the base and working out bottlenecks and stuff like that. But until then, you have to build up a lot of infrastructure, because you need to build mining, you need to build smelting, you need to build circuits, you need to build a refinery, all that stuff on a large scale. And it takes a long time before all that gets complete and you can really start putting it to use. So from this point forward, there's going to be a lot of building going on, without necessarily a lot of production happening. Okay, so I just want to give everybody a heads up on that, just so you can understand what's coming, and hopefully everyone will have the patience to live through that. But I will tell you in advance that my experience has been that you kind of get to a point where it feels like it's getting a little slow, and then once you start making the science packs and doing the research, then it starts to get pretty interesting again. So, but if you like the building and the planning and laying things out, then you'll probably enjoy all of that as well. At least I hope you do. Okay, so before we start expanding outward, what I would like to do is build myself a supply train, because for the foreseeable future, I'm going to need to come back here to get all the things that I need to build the expansion outside the base. So what I intend to do is build a personal train, and since we're going to be doing 2-headed trains, I think that maybe I could even just bring a rail right up alongside the mall and use that as my parking space right in here. All right, so let me, I don't know why I only got one stack of concrete. Let me go grab a bunch of concrete. And we'll start paving this. We'll pave this whole area, and this is where I'll put my construction train. You know, or we could call it engineering or whatever you want. Let's pick up those bricks. All right, and I do want to pave the whole mall since we're often running around inside of it. Let me do it from map view. That way I can let the bots manage it. Okay. And then I'll get rid of all this brick. Okay, I don't feel like I need constant combinators. All right, so let's start requesting some rail. Let's keep, I don't know, let's keep at least 300 rail on me. And some signals and train stop. And I think I'm going to want to set up, whoops, let's clear this. I'm going to want to set up a dedicated rail building toolbar set. So let's do that. Stations and large power poles, that's essentially what I use to build rail. So we'll put that on my fourth bar. And I think we also have the option now to show more quick bars. Yeah, let's turn it up to 4 and see how that looks. And then if I press X, it scrolls through them. I rather like that. Okay, cool. And let's change that to steel chests. And then maybe here we can put the, well, actually let's do that one there. And then that one, that one, that one. Which one am I missing? Buffer chests. Okay. Maybe we get roboports on here. Mining drills. I'm sure we'll think of some others as we go through this. That means I don't have a combat bar anymore. So we'll need one of those too, but I'll do that later on. Okay. And I think it would be good if we come down the middle here so that we can load it from both sides. Right, so this way I'll have room for chests on both sides that I can load it. How far forward should we go? I would say just up until these pipes. Otherwise those pipes are going to be in the way. All right. So we'll call this main engineering. All right, so I'm going to need 2 locomotives. In for that I need some engines, which I can grab over here, and steel. I'll get the steel from up here. Okay, 2 engines, and then I'm going to make 3 cargo wagons. I think I'm going to be using... I think I'm going to make the trains 141, except for the ore. I'm thinking I might make the ore trains to be 282. 282 and then 141 for everything else. Or even 111 for high value stuff, you know, like space science packs, for example. Or, you know, or a supply train for the outposts. I think we can make those 111. So we'll do 111, we'll do 141 for most things, and then we'll do 282 for the ore trains. And what those numbers mean is number of engines, number of cargo wagons, and then number of engines. Okay, so I'm going to make my personal train line up with the 141s. And I'm going to put 3 cargo wagons and 1 artillery wagon. And then we'll put the other wagon there. And I shall fuel these with rocket fuel, because that gives a nice speed bonus, which I want to take advantage of. Okay, so let's put in requester chests for rocket fuel. Where is it? There we go. And we'll put another one down here. And I'll just copy that. And then we'll throw in some lights. Both sides. And then this is going to essentially serve as our home base for a while. And then we need to go over and start putting rocket fuel into the network. Yeah, that's up here. All right, so we'll do a passive provider right there. Okay. Okay, and then we can start paving the rest of the base with stone. Not strictly necessary, of course, but I think it'll look nice. And let's go all the way down to there. Why are you guys following me with stone? Am I requesting stone? No, I'm not. Oh, I think they're just coming back to recharge and use the stone that I already have. There's a mod called Closest First that I've been using in modded games that I really like. That'll make your personal bots always build whatever you're standing closest to, rather than just doing them in whatever arbitrary order the game uses. I'm not even sure how it decides where to go first. Okay, and then we'll build out to here. I'm just doing it like this now because I want it to be nice and straight. I don't want to build over any of the concrete that I've put down. Okay. Yeah, then for the rest I can just do this. And then when that's done, we'll do another section. Okay. So let's start, or continue setting up our train, I should say. Yeah, look how much faster you run on the concrete. It's very nice. Okay, so we'll need to start loading this with artillery. So we'll put a single requester chest there. I'm going to request the artillery shells. And one chest can hold 48. So I'll put 48 in there. Now the artillery wagon, I believe, can hold 99 shells. So it can carry quite a lot of ammo. But I don't expect to always use 99 shells, so I think just having one of these filled will be fine. All right, and then now we have a problem. Here's the problem. When you're using two-headed trains, you don't always know which end of the train is going to come in first. So when you have a train like this that you want to load specific things in specific wagons, if the train comes in from the opposite end first, then things are not going to be aligned properly, and you end up getting a mishmash of stuff. Unless, I mean, yeah, we can filter all of our slots, of course, in the train, and that'll prevent that from happening, because then if it comes in the wrong way, it won't be able to insert. So maybe what we could do is even mirror it so that if it comes in the wrong way, you know, like let's say I've got items 1, item set 2, item set 3. And then if it comes in the other way, I can have item set 1, item set 2, item set 3 on the other side. And that way it can get refilled no matter which way it comes in. I'll just have to have twice as many requester chests and inserters, but that's not a big problem. So I think we can do something like that. So we'll continue this in the next episode, and then we'll have to start to set up, probably we'll need to set up some mining outposts, and so that we can get some smelting going. So that'll be coming up next. Until then, have a great day. Bye-bye.